This is my review of Grimm Season 3, Episodes 7 through 9. Starting with Episode 7. This one is about Crocodile, Wesen. Starting on with, I like it how they properly set up that there's going to be 3 of them, right? There's going to be multiple morphs. That's a better way to put it, because then you reveal in the end that it's 3, but like in the beginning you think it's 1, and it's like when they're shown pictures of them, they're always in the, you always see 2 or 3 come together, and like, and then you later on figure out, oh, there's another one, and then another one, and like it was perfectly set up. Yeah, that's how it works. I also like the clock with this episode, how there was like a ticking clock that they took, and it kind of reminds me of, oh yeah, it's a little nod to Peter Pan and crocodiles and clocks and all that, and I'm like, I like that. I thought that was funny. I also like it how in this episode you had Sean go off to Austria, and I always love it when you have more characters outside the United States, because like growing the scenery out, go like, okay, there's people out here, there's people, like, I think that's really interesting. In the later season, when we have Nick go to Germany, it's like, oh, this is awesome. I mean, I like it when you have them go out into the world a little bit instead of just being in Portland. On to the next episode. You have more of Sean in Austria, which is nice, and you get to see how the resistance works, which I found was fun. But on to the main thing, Krampus. I love how it's just like with some of the other episodes, good versus bad, like what is considered good and bad. Krampus is only going after bad kids who have harmed, stole from people, all that stuff. Okay, some of these kids deserve it. Outside the part that they're going to be eaten. That's the part that really makes it like, okay, so nope, this is not a good thing. They're being eaten. We should not do that. If it was something like, yeah, they're being, whipped or something like that, yeah, it's still a bad thing. Like, I don't know, but there's a little bit more of like, yeah, these kids are naughty. Krampus shows up, teaches them a lesson, walks away. Like, no, it's like he kidnaps them and he tries to eat them. Like, that's what makes it really bad. I also like it how, on that same note, you have it so there are good parents who have these bad kids sometimes, and you get to see, Nick shows up at one of the parents' house, and Bud's there. He's like, why are you here? He's like, oh, I'm friends with the parents. Good people can have bad kids sometimes, and that doesn't mean the parents deserve to lose their kid or the kids deserve to die because they're naughty sometimes. I thought that was cool, but it was also, I do like the kind of like, these kids kind of deserve it. Also just love the fact there's like this idea that this guy doesn't know he's Krampus, and every year he just turns into Krampus, teach some people some lessons, disappears again, and the idea that he probably ate some kids. Pretty awful. But in the same way, they can't arrest him. They're the only ones who know he did it, and really, like, it's not going to stand in court at all, and it's kind of would be awful to have someone who is completely innocent charged with crimes when he doesn't even know he did it. And I don't know, it leads into a little bit more of a question of who should be convicted when it comes to that stuff. Last thing I want to mention in this episode is Rosalie and Monroe's like relationship, how it works where Monroe loves holidays, he loves Christmas. When he shows her all this great decorations he put out for the holiday, and she doesn't have the same reaction, and he stays up all night and he takes it all down so that she would feel more comfortable. And by the end of the episode, she decides to put it all back up again because she found a way to make Christmas book for them. It's like the sad history, sad thing of her in the past, being able to somewhere move on and be able to be like, okay, I can move on. I'm with this person. We can have a new Christmas tradition. And I thought that was interesting. And I love how it, it talks about the people who really just can't stand Christmas. And it's a sad thing, and sometimes I get that. Where Christmas, this last Christmas for me was interesting because I didn't do anything for Christmas. I was here in Alaska, really alone. I had family around, but I didn't hang out with them for Christmas, and so I get that sometimes. I'm like, oh yeah, I completely forgot almost that Christmas ever happened this year. And yeah, that was fun, but that just made me got dark. Anyways, but the point is that was interesting. I thought this episode was good. Moving on to the next episode. Last episode, episode 9, is dealing with a Russian healer, kind of like Rasputin, and he comes to America and he gets attacked, and you get to learn about this how he used to be an assassin and he now became a healer, and he's trying to heal these people, and you had a question of, can someone turn their life around that much? Can this assassin become a good guy? And he's generally a good guy in the end, and he does die in the end, a hero by saving the person who was trying to kill him's life. I also like the episodes about Russian stories because of the fact that I actually have family. I'm not here in Alaska now, which is close to Russia now, which is also kind of scary, but I have family who's Russian, and so hearing these Russian stories remind me of my family, and like vodka and all this different stuff. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like some people in my family, so I thought that was also fun too. The last thing I want to mention in this episode is you get to meet one of Juliet's friends who is a food spell, but they didn't know she was. And you get to get this idea of like, yeah, there are people that Nick knew before he was a Grimm that only now he realized are actually Wesen. He didn't realize it. And you end the episode with, her husband, who's an abuser, showing up. You end with this idea of he knows where she is now, and he doesn't know that Nick is a Grimm, which leads us into the next episodes, which we'll talk about in our next video. Thank you guys for watching. Tell me your thoughts about these episodes. Have you watched these episodes yet? This has been the Movie Night Reviewer, Peter Wary, signing off.